This is Eyes on Africa News on YouTube at Hermela TV. I'm Hermela Aragawi. Thanks for listening. Please support our content by going to eoanews.com and clicking on donate, or become a monthly member of our Patreon at patreon.com/Hermela TV. The information is in the video description. Thanks for your support. The Red Cross warns Sudan's health system is at risk of collapse, and Sudan's Doctors Union says most major and specialized hospitals in Khartoum have been forced to evacuate their staff due to the ongoing fighting in the city. It's been 5 long days for many people in the capital as the Sudanese army and the RSF engage in urban fighting, terrorizing residents. Both sides of the fight recognized a 24-hour ceasefire Wednesday that was to start at 6 p.m., but residents say the shelling continued.
This is the third day that this is attempted. So 2 days ago, they announced a 3-hour peaceful corridor, they called it, so that people could go out to the top or whatever. That was broken immediately. Yesterday, they announced 24-hour ceasefire starting 7 p.m. And we started to hear heavy gunfire literally at like 6:59 and continued like for that hour.
According to the UN, more than 200 civilians have been killed and thousands injured. Tuesday, a U.S. diplomatic convoy in Khartoum came under fire, but no one was hurt.
Any attacks, threats, dangers posed to our diplomats were totally unacceptable.
We've been talking to many people on the ground, and the strength and resilience of the people is quite remarkable. Today, I want to introduce you to Z. We changed his name for his safety. He lives roughly a mile from the main airport, which has been a major battle zone.
People wake up every morning to the sound of gunfire, to the sound of, heavy artillery coming from different parts of the city. You physically feel, shaking glass.
Electricity is out in much of the city, and lack of water is now one of the biggest issues for many people. Z says the water tanks, which are usually on top of houses, are being destroyed in the fighting.
Turns out you can actually survive for a long time without electricity, but you cannot do more than 3 to 4 days without water. You need water for everything.
He also tells me his cousin, who has young children, ran out of water and then had to make the decision between dying of thirst or dying of bullets, and decided they would risk the latter.
He got in the car, drove across town, bullets flying over them, the kids like screaming in terror.
Who do you have hope in? I mean, do you have a sense that the UN or any other international leaders can pressure these leadership to really come to a halt?
Kind of doubtful, because if they had the leverage, then maybe the fighting would not have started in the first place, So I think to rephrase that, if they continue doing what they were doing before, I do not think they will be able to influence what is happening on the ground. They have to use different tactics. So they have to escalate, find some extra leverage, or, whether it's carrot or stick, whether it's either of those. But if they continue doing what they were doing before, clearly that was not enough to keep the main negotiating party rational, and to make sure that they stay away from this zero-sum option. And it really is a zero-sum option, because this is absolutely not to the advantage of the country of Sudan or the people of Sudan, what's happening now. I think there is no way you can debate that this is in any way, shape, or form to the advantage of the people of Sudan. It could be to the advantage of either of the two warring parties in their calculus. If they come out on top, it's to their advantage. But whoever comes out on top, coming out on top is through a process that, destroys the city, completely terrorizes, demoralizes the people, makes every single Sudanese now clearly looking at not to escape the fighting, but, optimistic scenario. If the fighting stops, how do I get out of this country that I am sure will not be stable, and not stable enough anyway, for me to consider building a life for myself and my family for the next 10 years. Every Sudanese, whatever, whether it's a large-sized business investor looking at hedging their bets, I'm not investing anymore in Sudan, or at least hedging my bets and investing somewhere else, because clearly this is, these parties are here to stay. I do not think whatever outcome we will have seen through the process, whether it's a process by negotiation, we'll still have, these fighting parties as very clear present parties in Sudan. If it's the process of war, I don't think either side has the capacity to completely finish off the other side. So you will have, obviously, the Sudanese army will be there. And I believe in some shape or form, the other warring party will also be there, the RSF. Maybe in Khartoum, maybe not in Khartoum, but it will be in Sudan. So the medium and long-term future of Sudan will have both these parties in place. And every Sudanese is now considering, as I said, their best, whether you're the largest business in Sudan or you're a Sudanese individual mapping out how I'm going to go through Libya and brave, the rubber boats to try to land in France, and then the UK is the ultimate El Dorado. But everyone now, I'm sure, is thinking about that as the post, in the optimistic scenario, if things settle in a month, you need to get out of the country. This is what everyone is talking about. And this is really the big change. So, you cannot unspill the milk. You can't.
This is Eyes on Africa News on YouTube at Hermela TV. I'm Hermela Aragawi. Thanks for listening. Please support our content by going to eoanews.com and clicking on donate, or become a monthly member of our Patreon at patreon.com/Hermela TV. The information is in the video description. Thanks for your support.